My friend, I'll call him Scott, died last week. 64 years old from cancer. And he and his wife, I'll call her Jill, Scott and Jill invited me in the last few weeks to kind of spend some time with them and thinking and praying and just sort of discussing the end. Scott was a winner. He'd succeeded in everything he'd ever done. He was a fantastic athlete. He was a handsome guy. He'd started and sold 3 businesses. He had done well in this life. He'd defeated everything that had ever come his way. 25 years ago, he had a heart valve replaced and came through that with flying colors. But a few years ago, when he was diagnosed with cancer, things went pretty well, and then cancer went away, and then the cancer came back, and they seemed to get into submission or into remission again. But then the cancer came back, and this time they tried everything, and they realized there's nothing else we can do. So Scott and Jill sat down with the doctor, I suppose it was the oncologist, and said, we get it. There's nothing else you can do. We're going to go home. We're going to leave the treatment center, go home, invite hospice in, and figure out how to end well, how to die well. And the doctor said something that really struck me. The doctor said, you know, Scott, there's no failure in this decision. And I thought to myself, how wrong that doctor is. The failure in that decision would have been if they just said, you know what, we want to keep trying at this, we want to keep flailing around, trying any kind of treatment, we want to desperately cling on to life as if there were nothing else besides that. We want to spend all of our energy, all of our time, all of our efforts fighting this thing all the way to the end. That would have been failure. Success is what Scott and Jill chose. They realized we've done everything we can, and now we need to turn our attention to how we're going to help Scott die well. So they reprioritized, they got home, they invited friends, they invited family over to be with them and to spend that last month together, just loving and laughing and being with the people that he cared about the most, so they could help him all the way to the end. And so when he died last week, Scott's 3 kids were there, as was his wife Jill, holding his hand. And when I shared with them in our call as he prepared to die, I said, Scott, you chose well. The failure would have been to do the opposite. You, once again, were a success. You chose to die well. Well done, good and faithful servant.